Hello, hello, JH girls and parents. Jill Hicks here, back with some more tips on the college recruiting process. Today we're going to talk about red flag parents. This is a hot topic and a challenging one. I always feel like I can relate to this topic because we all have moments as parents. We all have issues that we're working on. We're not perfect. We struggle. Our kids mean so much to us. And especially when it comes to the recruiting process, we want nothing more for them than to have them reach their college recruiting dreams, right? So it's really hard to step back and have the big picture in mind when we know that what they do, what they say, and how they come across can have a big impact on the college recruiting process. So I want to reassure you that college coaches understand when your daughters are going through the recruiting process, they are not expecting perfection. They are not expecting them to have it all figured out. Okay, but they are watching for some signs that your daughters can manage and handle college academically and athletically when they arrive on their campus. So that's what they're looking for. Some parents might exhibit more red flags than others. So please take this as a positive way to be encouraged and work on some things as a parent now when you can. Maybe it's before your daughter gets heavy into the recruiting process, or if you're in it, these might be some helpful tips along the way to help maybe encourage and make it a more favorable experience. Okay, so what are some of the red flags? I've written out 3 today. One is when the parent communicates on behalf of the recruit. I can tell you this, it's a huge red flag. So whether it's through emails or asking and talking the most on those visits, more than your daughter is, that's a big red flag, all right? So keep that in mind when it's time for your daughter to reach out to college coaches through emails and making phone calls and all those things. You really have to pull back and let her write her own emails, make her own phone calls. When she's on her visit, let her do the talking. Now, there's some prep work you can do ahead of time so that you feel comfortable with giving her that opportunity and that she's prepared, but it's okay if she makes mistakes through that, all right? Emails can have grammar errors. Emails need to come from their heart, and it's very obvious when a parent is writing the emails. So be very aware of that. I just had a D1 college coach tell me the other day that she is not going to recruit a girl because she felt every email was written by the parent. So be very aware of that. Number 2, when it's time to speak or meet the coaches, these are some things I want you to think about, all right? Do not make excuses for your gymnast. So when it is time for you to get to know the college coach, be aware of what you are saying. You don't want to be making excuses for them. You want them to know as a college coach that you have been training your child to be independent of you and that on a healthy level so that when they get there, they can manage and do a good job. Let's see. A big one is, does your gymnast treat you with respect? I just recently was on a phone call with one of my clients who was, I thought, very disrespectful. And honestly, it's hard for me to recommend a client like that to any college team, and or not that I would communicate that, but it would be tough for me, and I would prefer to work with that client on developing their skills to understanding how they're coming across. So we want the gymnast to be respectful to you and you to them. So those are really important things. That's number 2. Number 3, are you a helicopter parent? Okay, so that would be a parent who does everything for their child, for even in high school. You see this happen sometimes. Or you're interrupting your daughter when she's trying to have an opinion or speak. So again, we want your daughter to be displaying independence in a healthy way and a mature way, not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. They're still developing into a young adult, so they're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But those are the 3 areas that I would say be mindful of. Those are some red flag things. So number 1, parent is communicating on behalf of the gymnast. Number 2, when it's time to go meet the coaches, how is your daughter coming across, and how is your relationship with them? Are there red flags? And then number 3, don't be a helicopter parent. All right, so those would be that. And I would say one thing I learned as a parent was to count to 10. So when I felt my emotions rise up because we love them so much, or we feel we want to control the situation, try to count to 10 and wait. You'd be surprised. Your daughter might be able to manage a situation that you may not have been aware of. All right, thanks again for joining me here at JH Consulting.